Some injury concerns with Bo Nix. We're talking about how concerning is his injury that popped up yesterday, and we're also picking the Broncos-Browns game. Will the Broncos win? And how much of a concern is Jerry Jeudy for this Broncos defense? We're diving into it all, starting now. Happy Thanksgiving post, happy Black Friday, happy Broncos, Browns, happy CU Bucks. We got a lot to be thankful for, a lot to celebrate, except for one thing. And we're going to talk about it on the DNVR Broncos podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge inside the DNVR Bar. Of course, the Toyota Lounge, driven by your local Front Range Toyota stores. And we are presented by Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 over at Bet365. Place a $10 deposit, place a $5 bet, and you're going to get $150 in bonus bets, plus Altitude Plus, courtesy of Bet365. Guys, Super Bowl 50 champ Todd Davis, Henry Chisholm, you here, and yours truly, Zach Stevens, rocking and rolling with you today. Fellas, how was Thanksgiving?
Well, first I gotta say happy Thanksgiving post to you, Zach.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was hoping someone would give that back to me.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving post.
Thank you.
It was good. We had an early morning today because my girlfriend got back from Hawaii and had to go straight to the CU game, which meant we needed to drive her car. I think I might have said that on the podcast, all the way up to Boulder.
Yeah.
It was an adventure. So we've already been up there, looked at the tailgates, ran to Travis Hunter.
Wow.
Yeah. He was signing a lot of things. So I'm wide awake.
Wow, that's great. Sometimes you're groggy on this show.
Oh, most days.
Yeah, so
10 a.m.
I'm happy we got an awake and alert Henry. Todd, are you awake and alert today after Thanksgiving?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling, though. I didn't do that much this morning. I didn't even work out. I just slept in.
I can tell.
No, you can't. And then
Todd literally flexing.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm happy. I'm awake.
Yeah. And I'm here, happy and awake. Yahir showed us some delicious tacos he had yesterday. Probably better than any food that anyone had on this set yesterday. Well, I'm not trying to put your guys' food down, but
my food was fire. I killed that turkey.
Yeah, and you promised me you were gonna bring me some, and you killed the turkey?
Yeah. I did.
Wow.
I think that'd be the one
vicious.
One time I'd kind of be down for hunting. I'm just not much of like a killer, but hunting for your own Thanksgiving turkey could be kind of a good because it's just a turkey, you know.
Yeah.
I don't need to like go kill a deer and cut
how
up the
would
deer.
you kill it? Because it would have to be like
true.
strategic because you can't necessarily like shoot an arrow through the side because then you have this gaping hole in the middle of your like Thanksgiving turkey.
Maybe you trap it and just.
Oh my
throat.
gosh, you guys are just, I can't even think about this. This is awful.
Well, we have a year to plan.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's dive into some Broncos today. We appreciate everyone joining us today. Hopefully everyone has today off and is able to watch the Buffs play right now in just a couple of minutes. We got Raiders and Chiefs Black Friday football. We're going to pick that game later today. And this is like we're entering the best time of the year if you're a football fan, and everyone joining with us today is a football fan. We had football all day yesterday. We have football, college, and NFL all day today. We have college all day tomorrow. We have NFL all day Sunday. And then we got Broncos Browns on Monday Night Football. This is our final show before the tailgate show on Monday night. So we're going to make all of our picks. But before we get into this game, guys, there was one thing that Broncos Country was not thankful for yesterday, and that was the estimated injury report that dropped for the first time this week. And Bo Nix was limited in the Broncos walkthrough yesterday with a back injury. Now, we saw him getting some treatment during Sunday's game with his back, but he didn't miss a play. He didn't miss a series. He didn't look limited at all. In fact, yesterday, Bo Nix was named the NFL Rookie of the Week for a third straight week. So this back injury didn't slow him down on Sunday, but then it pops up, and Broncos Country freaks out yesterday. So let's talk about how worried should we be about a back injury that limited Bo in an estimated walkthrough yesterday.
I'm not worried.
Okay.
I think we'll know pretty quickly on Monday. Like, I think by the end of the first drive, we'll know if he's himself or not. Like, just if he's moving all right. And I'd imagine he would be, because he played through it. I'm not concerned.
Yeah, I'm not.
Oh.
I'm not concerned, but I mean, like being limited in a walkthrough, that you're only walking anyway.
Have a wheelchair.
The
He
thing
would be
about
out
back
there
injuries,
technically.
Yeah.
That'd
thing
be
about back
limited.
injuries, they can just linger. Like,
That's true.
especially if it's like a pinched nerve or a herniated disc or something. I don't know what it is, but
Yeah.
all that stuff kind of lingers and it sucks.
I feel like I've heard people say once you have a bad back, you just
You
always
never
have
go
a
back.
bad. Yeah. Exactly. They don't say it as clever as you did. But yeah, no. So I guess maybe. You would hate Nikola Jokic, for example. Remember, like 6 years ago, he had like that little wrist injury, and everybody's like, "Oh, no big deal." And now, like,
You remember that, Todd?
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, but now like, it's like once or twice a season he'll just miss like 2 games with like a little wrist thing, or like you'll see him on the bench just like with heating pad or ice. So like sometimes you have those things that just kind of linger, and so there's always that concern when you get an injury. But no, I don't. I guess what I'm saying is I don't expect this injury to be permanent. I think it'll probably be gone pretty quickly.
I feel like you were just trying to say the opposite.
I mean,
though,
it's possible.
that a back injury
It's
is
possible.
permanent.
It's possible, but I doubt it.
He's young. He's spry.
Well, some would say he's not too
Well,
young.
that's fair. For a rookie, he might not be young. But I think that Broncos Country freaked out way too much yesterday. People were going crazy
could
about
have seen
this.
that coming?
Well, it's really true. And I understand it. Look, you finally found your quarterback, and now he pops up with a back injury kind of out of the blue. Like, it wasn't talked about after the game. Bo Nix was fine. Sean Payton didn't bring it up. We didn't hear about it for the next couple of days. And then all of a sudden, when the first injury report drops, there's a back injury, and he's limited. And one of the things I think sent Broncos Country for a tizzy is a lot of fantasy apps call limited in practice questionable for the game.
Oof.
And that is not true. So I think that freaked a lot of people out. But the fantasy apps were wrong about that. Bo Nix is not questionable. We don't know his game status report. We won't know that till tomorrow. But I would be shocked if he's questionable. I think Bo Nix is going to be fine for Monday night's game. This would really only concern me if, for Monday specifically, if he were purely a running quarterback. And then it's like, okay, well, now he might not have his mobility. It's probably not smart for him to get hit a lot and be running a lot. But we know that Bo is far from that. And the crazy thing that I didn't realize until just looking at numbers this week, Bo, we knew he was a running quarterback the first half of this season. It was nuts, the numbers he was putting up. 35 rushing yards, 25, 47, 61, and then 75 rushing yards against the Saints. Those are like, I mean, running quarterback numbers right there. Since then, though, Bo Nix has ran for 4 yards, 36 yards, -5 yards, 5 yards, and last week 5 yards. So Bo Nix in the past 3 games has ran for a total of 5 yards. Bo Nix is no longer relying on his legs to win games and to open things up for him. He is a passing quarterback, and that's why I think maybe stay away from Bo Nix rushing yards this week. It's set at 20.5 over at Bet365. That's really the only thing that I think this injury is going to hinder. There's no reason for Bo Nix to run like crazy in this game. Protect the back. If you need to self-sack, do that. But for the most part, I don't think this is going to limit him. The only thing that concerns me is kind of something Henry said, like, you never want to see a back injury. That might be like one of the most concerning injuries. So for the long term, hope he gets okay. The good thing is, after this game, it's a bye week where he can truly rest up. And maybe they're just being very cautious about his back injury. We're going to talk to Bo later today. So make sure you're following all of our social. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah. So make sure you're following all of our social media accounts for the latest updates on Bo. But that's the only thing. He's probably not going to run as much, maybe. But he hasn't been doing that for the past month, really, anyways.
But you use your back for everything.
It's
like
true.
Throwing the football, saying hi, like even when you talk,
Yep.
all those muscles fire in your abdomen and your back. So I hope it's not a big injury, but if it is something that is truly hurting him, you're gonna see it more than just him running the football.
Yeah. Also, Money Moore in the chat said his back will be targeted. It's kind of, isn't that what you kind of always target? Unless you're in front of the guy, you know, because you kind of just go for. Oh, okay. Sorry, Todd. But I mean, you go right for the middle of him. You would think.
It kind of, yeah, that kind of reminds me. Tell me if this makes sense.
I hope so.
When I got new brakes many years ago on my car, when I left, the guy said, "Okay, your car's ready to go. Just if you can, avoid slamming on your brakes for a couple of days." And it's like, don't you always try to
Yeah.
avoid slamming on your
You do.
brakes, really? Like, unless
Yep.
you have to. So, kind of the same thing. Is that a pick for Travis
I
Hunter?
think that might be.
Jeez, man. CU Buffs fans are happy right now.
This is his last game for the Heisman, too. Like, this is the last one they'll factor in.
Yeah, it's very true.
It's a big one.
So, I don't know, Todd, after thinking through this, use your back for everything. Are you more concerned about this?
Yeah, I think it all depends on how much he practices today and tomorrow. Because right now, I think being limited one day is not bad. But if it just continues to happen, then it's like, okay, there's an issue here. There's a bigger issue here.
That's very fair. Yeah, so we'll continue to follow this, but I fully expect him to play on Monday night and be fine. And obviously, that is a very big key for the Broncos. Let's continue to break this game down because there's a familiar face on the other side with the Cleveland Browns with Jerry Jeudy. And let's break that down after I give a shout out to our friends over at Verizon. 'Tis the season, not just for Black Friday, but to switch to Verizon. And when you switch to Verizon, you're going to get a $200 Verizon gift card when you switch and purchase a select phone on their Select Unlimited plan. Start the holidays off right with a great network and use that gift card to start checking off other great tech gifts off your list like smartwatches, tablets, headphones, and more. And also be on the lookout very soon for ticket giveaways to a Denver Broncos game courtesy of Verizon for this holiday season. If we're talking about which games, it could be maybe the Colts coming up, the Chiefs to end the season. That could be a huge one. So get in on this to be in the sweepstakes. So switch to Verizon now and get a $200 gift card only at Verizon. $200 Verizon e-gift card sent within 8 weeks. Requires device payment purchase. Minimum retail price of $799.99. Import in with new SmartLine phone on postpaid unlimited plus or ultimate unlimited plan required.
And shout out to our friends over at Westera Credit Union. They're all about helping members financially prosper. They were started by a group of school teachers, so they're all about education. As a member, you see that come through in every interaction. It's all about the local community with these guys. And they were founded right here in Colorado in 1934 with 9 locations in the Denver metro area. And they have a couple, new things for you guys. As a member, you can now get this new thing this holiday season from November 13th through the 31st. They want to give you a wallet gift. New members who open a Smart Money checking or Money Market Select account will get $100 on January 2nd. All you need to do is join, open one of those new accounts, enroll in digital banking, and you're on your way to getting your $100. Visit westeracu.com/become-a-member to learn more. Membership eligibility required, insured by the NCUA.
And shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up. Before we dive into this game, 2 more injury updates on yesterday's estimated injury report because it was a walkthrough. It's an estimated injury report. Riley Moss did not practice. I wouldn't expect to see him in Monday night's game, and shouldn't be the biggest deal going up against this Browns team, but we'll dive into that. Henry might disagree there. And Zach Allen did practice. That is huge. I would expect him to play. Going from like a big boot last week, getting injured in practice, to now practicing is huge news for the Broncos. So that should be really good going up against Nick Chubb. And speaking of the Broncos traded Jerry Jeudy to the Browns earlier this offseason. Guys, 11, 12 weeks into the season, did the Broncos make the right decision?
I think ultimately for the team, maybe so. They found some good young talent. They're able to get some more guys on the field. Jerry Jeudy hasn't had like an explosive season. He's starting to, come on and, play well now. But I think ultimately for the Broncos, like future success, they may have made the right decision.
Yeah. Because it wasn't just like we've got to get something for him, which was like a 5th and a 6th round draft pick. The big thing was that you would have had to pay him $15 million this year.
Yep.
And that's why they moved on from Justin Simmons. So if you were going to get rid of Jerry and you decide to keep him instead, then you have to move on from Court, or you have to move on from Bowles a year early or something like that. So somebody had to go to make the money work. Either that or they push stuff to the future when this was kind of the year where you want to take those cap hits and save your resources for the next couple of years. So it makes sense. I don't want to say it sucks seeing him play as well as he has the last few weeks, because it is good to see that he's doing well, but it does make you wonder what he could do, because this kind of feels like the first time he's had a quarterback who works well with him. And four games with Jameis, he has 95 yards a game, which is pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, from what Jerry did with the Broncos, you're right. The Broncos weren't going to pay him a contract, so you kind of had to choose between Court or Jerry. Court is the leading receiver in the NFL over the past 5 weeks. He has been fantastic. Jerry Jeudy, though, you said he's been playing good recently, Henry.
Yeah.
You're spot on with that. In the past 4 weeks, Jerry Jeudy is averaging over 90 yards per game. 2 weeks ago, he went off for 142 yards. Got a touchdown on 6 catches. He's had 79 yards, 73 yards, 142 yards, 85 yards. I don't know if that would have happened in Denver, so maybe it's good for all sides. But Jerry Jeudy right now is playing some of the best football of his career and looking like a top 15 pick like he was. The good news is for the Broncos, they've got Pat Surtain. And for me, when it comes to dealing with Jerry Jeudy, no one knows how to handle Jerry Jeudy better than Pat Surtain. They went up against each other in college. They went up against each other for years in Denver in training camp and practices. And you look at who the Browns are on offense after Jerry Jeudy, they're no one in terms of the receiving game. Like David Njoku, we talked about him. Should the Broncos potentially trade for him? He's not having a good season. He has like 350 receiving yards on the season. Jerry Judy's almost at 700. And David Njoku's their second best receiving weapon right now after they traded Amari Cooper. And so you're talking about it's Jerry Jeudy or it's nothing. And good news is the Broncos have Pat Surtain. So for me, this game plan is so simple from Vance Joseph. It's Pat Surtain follows Jerry Jeudy the entire game, and you don't have to worry about Jerry Jeudy. Am I making it too simple, or can it be that simple?
No, that's been the kind of the game plan kind of all year long. I think even against the Raiders, you saw Pat Surtain on Brock Bowers. Like, he's going to follow the biggest receiving threat most of the game. So let's keep it going. I mean, I know that we don't have or may not have Riley Moss this game.
Yeah.
So that does kind of make us more susceptible to wide receiver number 2 or the tight ends. But, you know, if we take away Jerry, I think you're taking away a big piece of their offense.
Yeah. I think with Levi Wallace on the other side, first of all, that's a great backup corner to have. The fact that you have a veteran who started, 80 games in the NFL, who you get to just throw out there, like still not 30, like should still be playing good football, played pretty well last year. I think being able to put him out there to replace Riley it allows you to just put Pat on Jerry and kind of leave the rest be. The one thing about Levi, though, is that he has never been the fastest cornerback, and you leave Elijah Moore on his side, which you don't love. But I'm not too worried about Jerry in this game. Pat will lock him up, and I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about who's their number 2 receiver. Their number 2 guy with the second most receiving yards is David Njoku, 345 on the season. Then Cedric Tillman is actually their second number receiver at 339, and then Elijah Moore, the fast guy, is right behind him at 336. So, I mean, it is Jerry Jeudy and then just like anyone else in this game. So, Henry, I think you're right. You'll just want a little safety help over the top when Elijah Moore's out there. Otherwise, you should be okay. Jameis Winston,
he's putting up numbers.
He might have, he's putting up numbers, but then, he goes and throws a 3-touchdown game, wins AFC Offensive Player of the Week in his very first start against the Ravens to get the win. Then he goes out the next week and throws 3 picks.
Yep.
And so you don't know which Jameis Winston you're going to get. And that's kind of been Jameis Winston throughout his career. That's how he had a 30-30 season, 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions. So you hope that you get the 3 interception, Jameis Winston, but also your defense dictates that. The Ravens' pass defense is bad, so Jameis Winston was able to go and tear that up. And when it comes to the Broncos' defense, they're a top 3 defense in the NFL, so I expect Jameis to struggle in this game. And I found a very interesting stat when it came to Jameis Winston. It's key to keep him in the pocket, because this last game that they won, when they were able to beat the Steelers at home, Jameis Winston had his 2nd straight game with over 100 passing yards from outside the pocket. There have only been 2 games like that the entire season in the NFL, and he has 2 of them. Or there have only been 7 games like that, and he's had 2 of them. So keep Jameis Winston in the pocket. Even though he doesn't seem like a mobile guy, he likes to get out of the pocket, move, and then find guys. That buys time, makes it harder on the secondary. But the good news is for the Broncos, not only do they have a great secondary, they have the best pass rush in the NFL. So I don't think Jameis is going to have time in the pocket to buy time like that.
No, I don't think so either. And I think, I think our defense has made everybody struggle. So why would we stop with Jameis Winston? I think we're going to have another good game by our defense, especially with Zach Allen coming back. That rush up front is going to be even better, getting after the quarterback. And as long as you just make Jameis make a mistake early, the game is over. If you can get him to make an interception or throw an interception in the first quarter, it's downhill from there.
Yeah.
He's probably going to throw 2 or 3 more, within that game. So, try to get to him early, affect him early, have him make some bad throws early, and I think we'll have an easy day.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing is that, there's touchdowns and interceptions and all that stuff, but they throw the ball a lot. Yeah, he's also throwing for 296 yards a game in 4 starts, which is ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, that's not enough to qualify for the leaderboards, but right now, the best in the NFL is Geno with 275, Joe Burrow right behind him, then 2 at 265. 295 a game is crazy. And that's why it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have a good game, but it'd be really nice to have Riley out there because you want his ball skills and, when the opportunity comes to make a play, you have to make the play because they're moving the ball really, really well. They're a 3-win team, but they're 2-2 since Jameis took over, and those 2 wins are against 2 playoff teams. Not maybe playoff teams, but the Ravens and the Steelers, who are definitely in. So you're gonna get your opportunity to make plays, but it's really important that you make them because 296 a game is ridiculous in a 4-game stretch.
Yeah, and that just screams Jameis ball. You're going to go out there and you're going to sling it all around the field, and Jerry Jeudy's going to get his, and Jerry's going to be happy, and he's going to get his touchdowns. He's also going to have his interceptions. And Henry, if you want to just look at one number, there is one key number in this game when it comes to Jameis Winston, the Jameis Winston-led Browns. In their 2 wins with Jameis, the Browns are averaging 26.5 points per game. In the 2 losses with Jameis, they're averaging 12 points per game. So when things are clicking for Jameis, it's pretty obvious that the Browns are going to be in games and win them. When things aren't clicking for Jameis in the Browns offense, it's pretty obvious. 12 points per game is obviously just brutal. So this defense, if anyone can hold him to 12 points per game, it's absolutely this Broncos defense. But Henry, a really good point. This Browns team is different with Jameis than without Jameis. 2-2 with Jameis, 1-6 when Deshaun Watson was their quarterback.
He was very bad.
Yeah, very bad. So I know Browns fans are very happy that Jameis is their quarterback right now. How concerned should we be about Nick Chubb? He recently came back. Obviously, before he had that brutal injury last year, he was one of the best, maybe the best running back in the NFL. He came back in the middle of this season and is only averaging 3 yards per carry. He does not look like Nick Chubb out there right now. He looks like a guy that probably should sit the rest of this season and just get that knee fully healthy for next season. When I've watched the Browns, it does not look like a special running back there. Is that how he'll look on Monday against the Broncos, or could he pop off?
No, we've done our job against some really talented running backs this season, and I think that he is one of the best running backs in the NFL when he's healthy. But when you're just coming back from injuries and you're starting to get back into your stride, it's never going to look good. So I think it's going to take him a little bit more time to get back to his original self. So I don't think he'll be back there by Monday night. And, I think he'll look solid, but he'll look average for the most part because our defense is so good.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Javonte, really.
Yeah.
Like when you watch him run. Again, like the numbers can be skewed a little bit. Like you look at 20 carries, 59 yards against the Steelers, and it's not great. But when you're playing in a blizzard and everybody knows you're running most of the time and you still get 2 touchdowns out of it, I don't think that he's like a bad running back. I think he's fine right now. And at some point, I think he's going to get back to being himself. You just hope that that doesn't come this week.
Yeah, and to be fair, in that game against the Browns, like you mentioned, 3 yards per carry. The week before, 4.5 yards per carry. But the 3 weeks before that, 2.6 yards per carry, 3.3 yards per carry, 2 yards per carry.
Against that Chargers defense, though, against the Baltimore defense, again, I haven't watched those games, so I don't know if he looked that bad. But I don't know. Watching the Steelers game, he didn't look ridiculous, but the vision was still there, and he found a way to get what you needed out of him.
Yeah, I'm not worried about him. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler, one of the best in the game, but I think saying he looks like Javonte is probably a really good represent. Like, he can get the job done. He's going to get carries. But in terms of, he just does not look like his old self right now. Anything else you guys are worried about the offense for the Browns going up against this Broncos defense?
Absolutely not. Come on, guys. You told us last week we can trust this team.
Yep.
They handle their business against bad teams.
Yep.
I'm not even losing sleep for a second about this team. We're watching a Colorado game right now. We're not worried about
This is
the
a
Browns.
ridiculous play. Hopefully that's a penalty on the defense.
Yeah, Todd, I feel the same way, except for one guy on the other side of the ball. And let's talk about Myles Garrett. How concerned should the Broncos be about Myles Garrett, especially we're talking about a Bo Nix back injury. Is this something we should really be concerned about? Let's talk about this after I give a shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. Every single person needs floors. So this is a company you're going to want to make sure you know how to get in contact with. And it's over at empiretoday.com/DNVR. Empire Today is great at what they do. So there's a lot of copycats out there, but you're going to want to make sure to go with Empire Today because they do it the right way. They do it the best way. And they've got the best tools to allow you to pick out the right floors, like their virtual floor designer. It's a great way to see how new floors will look in any space. It's easy. Just snap a picture and instantly see how new floors will look in your room. So check them out. They service their own warranties. So if you have any issues, you just call Empire and you don't have to worry about middle companies and having to deal and jump through hoops. No, you can just do it all through Empire itself. So schedule a free in-home estimate today, and all listeners can receive a $350 off discount when they use the promo code DNVR. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/DNVR for details.
And head over to Live Well because it's the holiday season, and nothing makes holidays more fun than Live Well can. So they strive to make cannabis accessible to all. They believe everybody deserves to live well. And they have 25 convenient Colorado dispensary locations with a premium selection and expert service that await you. Their knowledgeable, supportive staff are here to help you on your journey. Visit the Live Well dispensary to learn more about their wide selection of cannabis flower, edibles, concentrates, and more. They offer price match guarantee, so if you see one of their products in a different store, then you can tell them about it, and you can just take that price. That's how price matching works. So visit livewell.com today. You can reserve your products online for a quick in-store pickup, or you can just stop by because they can't wait to answer all of your questions about cannabis. And if you mention the code DNVR25 in the store, you can get 25% off one regular priced item. Restrictions apply.
All right, we've got some NFL news impacting our all-city friends over at CHGO. The Bears have fired their coach, Matt Eberflues. It's the first time a mid-season firing has happened in Bears history. And, man, did they put him through it. He gave a press conference an hour ago saying he's confident he would be the Bears coach the following week. Then they fired him. But, guys, I mean, come on. that game last night was inexcusable.
Just stupid.
How it ended, like, first you're getting blown out, and then credit to the Bears for coming back. They're down 16-0 against one of the best teams in the NFL. Lions. They make a comeback, and then you blow it the way they did. How do you not call a timeout after Caleb Williams gets sacked? There's 30 seconds left, and then you run the clock out to end the game? Inexcusable.
Absolutely inexcusable. I thought that was horrible game management. Somebody should have called timeout.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody from the Bears organization yesterday. And they actually, I'll show you the text, but they actually said they didn't think he would make. I was like, I don't think he's the guy. I don't think he's it. And they were like, I honestly don't think he'll make it through the weekend.
Yeah.
And sure enough, he didn't make it through the weekend.
They knew. And I mean, did you guys hear some of the interviews with players after the game? They, without saying, fire our coach, they said that. They said, one of them said, like, as players, we did everything we needed to do to win that game. Okay, well then, what do they say? The coaches messed up right there.
They did everything they needed to do to get that game to overtime. I'll give them that.
That's very fair.
They can say they did enough to win. Maybe if they played better in the first half. The other crazy thing is, so that was the first time I got to just sit down and watch Caleb Williams play, because typically Broncos are like the 2:30 game, which means you get to watch Thursday Night Football, like Sunday mornings, occasionally get some red zone in before the Broncos start, before you go save and all that. But then Broncos are on during the late window, and then writing during the Sunday night game. So you catch like the second half of that, and then Monday night. So you get like 2.5 games a week. This is the first time I've gotten to see Caleb Williams play, and he misses so many throws. It's crazy. And like you hear everybody talking about like, well, the Bears' offensive line sucks. And you watch it and you're like, it's not that bad. Like there are plenty of plays that he could make, and he just doesn't do it. So it's kind of fun to watch. Like after watching Bo Nix play a game, and then you watch Caleb Williams play, it's like, this guy, he got a lot better in the second half, but he's not Bo.
I feel like he holds the ball too. Like
He does.
that doesn't help his O-line.
No.
You know, so.
No,
And he looks lost in the pocket too. Like guys will be coming, and you're like, here they come, and he doesn't see it somehow.
100%. And Sean's admitted, like, we didn't do much work on Caleb Williams. What?
Nothing.
Oh. Sean's admitted that the Broncos didn't do much work on Caleb Williams because they knew he was going to be the number 1 overall pick, and there was no chance that they were going to get him. And he's given compliments to Caleb. I don't know if Sean truly would have liked Caleb Williams, because the number one thing Sean pointed to before the Broncos even drafted Bo Nix was how you improve this offense is by taking fewer sacks. Caleb Williams, and sure, his offensive line isn't the best. Caleb Williams has taken the most sacks in the NFL by far, and he has been a big part of that. So I don't know if Sean truly would have liked Caleb. You mentioned the accuracy is not really there. It's not a surprise why Bo Nix has 3 straight Rookie of the Week awards. It's the first time that's ever happened in Broncos history. And he has the second most Rookie of the Week awards in Broncos history right now. And be on the lookout tomorrow. I expect Bo Nix to be named the NFL's Rookie of the Month for a second straight month. And I think that will be enough to put him as the front runner for the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah. With Sean, so Sean had that whole big thing when he was a broadcaster saying Caleb's going to be the reason they go to a draft lottery and all that sort of stuff. But people forget that Caleb's better year was his sophomore year, not his junior year, his last year. So Sean was talking after he just set all those records and like won the Heisman and all those sorts of things. I think it's also interesting because sometimes you hear people talk about whether Shedeur is a better quarterback than Bo, just because they're both in the same town, you know. Sean wouldn't want Shedeur over Bo. Sean would absolutely take Bo because he wouldn't put up with the sacks. And I don't necessarily think that that's like what every coach in the NFL would think. But even though Shedeur is going to be, I think, the number 1 pick, like I don't think that Sean would be willing to swap Bo out and take Shedeur.
100%.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you.
Also, weird thing about Shedeur. So he won the Johnny Unitas Golden Arm Award, which is basically just best quarterback in the country. They announced that at 10:01 this morning.
Wow.
So game starts at like 10, kickoff's like 10:10. What are the odds he knows right now that he won that? Somebody on the sideline tell him?
Yes.
Yeah? You don't wait till after the game?
No. I don't think so.
No, wait till after the game. You don't
I
wanna,
think that's
like,
what I was thinking.
You don't want to even like put that in his head. Like,
hey, you're about to run out on the field.
Believe in the hype. He started throwing crazy
You don't think
balls.
Shedeur believes in the hype
No, I'm
already?
just saying you just start slinging it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like,
Maybe
I'm-
with some core. I don't think Shedeur has an issue with that.
I thought I was nice. They just told me my arm is golden. Watch.
Yeah.
Watch me work.
Yes,
I'm
yes,
Johnny United,
exactly.
yeah.
That's why he's going out and throwing 2 touchdowns already. Or no, I guess 1 touchdown. They ran the other one in. Okay, back to the Browns. How concerned should the Broncos be about Myles Garrett, Todd? Whoa, shoulder shrug. 2 shoulder shrugs. And an
Like a little bit. You know what I'm saying? A little bit concerned. But our offensive line's playing really well right now, especially our tackles, you know. You know, outside of a few penalties, like we're doing a really good job of protecting our quarterback. And Bo helps, you know, the O-line out by not taking many sacks. I think together they'll probably have a pretty good game plan for Myles Garrett. Max Crosby had 2 sacks against the Broncos early in the season. Since then, I don't think anybody has had a 2-sack game. It is what it is, man. You know, bring your best. We'll bring our best, and I think we'll be all right.
I am like maximum concerned because my thing is this is like the Garrett Bowles. Like he always says,
Stop being scared.
treat Bo like he's your wife or babe, whatever he said. You know, it's like family back there. Remember 2 weeks ago?
Did he say that about Russ? Was that a quarterback
It was Russ or maybe before Russ. I think he said it multiple times.
That's my family.
Exactly. It's one of his hits. But I think there was that play 2 weeks ago where he got like the 15-yard penalty.
Yeah.
That's the energy you need from him this week. Where it's like if Myles Garrett gets close to that quarterback, you don't let him like rip Bo's helmet off and start swinging it around. Don't let him like no dirty stuff because he has a penchant to do those sorts of things. So this is Garrett Bowles.
He did that one
bodyguard.
time.
Yeah, but then after I swear he's done other things.
No,
it
he
just been
hasn't.
that.
He's done that one time. He catches black ball. He made one mistake.
I'm putting Garrett Bowles on high alert and saying like, hey, if we're ever up by 10 points. If you need to do something, go ahead and do it.
So you're saying give him the Malik Jackson treatment. Malik would like have a 15-yard unnecessary roughness penalty once a game, but it would be to like send a message to the other team, and it would work. The message would be sent. You're saying do that for Garrett.
If you got
for Garrett Bowles on Myles Garrett.
You keep an eye on that guy. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Because he earns a lot of it because he's a good enough player that he's around the quarterback a lot, but don't let him do anything extra, especially with like the back injury. This is Garrett Bowles. Go be a bodyguard week.
Yeah, I am somewhere in between you guys. I just think Myles Garrett's the one guy that could ruin this game for the Broncos because Bo Nix has a back injury. Don't let your quarterback be hit. So give extra protection wherever Myles is. Make sure there's someone to chip. Just don't let Myles Garrett get close to Bo. And I think the way you do that is just give all the resources necessary to minimize him. In the first half of last week's game, Myles Garrett had 3 sacks, which is just insane for a game. It's even more insane for a half. Don't let that happen. Don't let him touch Bo. But outside of that, like they do have Zadarius Smith, who is good. They do have other pieces, but just don't let it be Myles Garrett is the one to beat you in this game. And I think the Broncos will pay extra attention to that. And you mentioned Max Crosby. Todd, Max Crosby had a 10-game sack streak against the Broncos going into this past week, and Bo Nix broke that. His pocket presence was amazing. He broke Max Crosby's ankles on that move where he stepped back in the pocket. So I think Bo is ready for this. The Broncos are ready for that challenge of Max Crosby. Max Crosby destroyed the running game but did not destroy the passing game. I think that's probably what happens. We're going to feel Max Crosby's presence, but have it be in the run game, not in the pass game.
Hopefully not feeling Max Crosby's presence tomorrow. Otherwise,
Myles Garrett.
that would be terrifying.
You just want to let my guy slide? You knew what he was talking about.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
I mean, I honestly am not too concerned about Myles Garrett in terms of like playing the football game as much as it's don't let him hurt Bo.
Yep.
Todd totally disagrees. He wants Bo to get
Bruh,
hurt.
he did it one thing one time. He
But
was
I can't-
provoked and something happened.
He could have killed that guy. Swinging the helmet on. I don't know.
He didn't kill him though.
He didn't, but that means he might still be bloodthirsty and get his
Oh
fix.
my god!
He's just- it's been on his mind for 5
but then
years
he
now.
died.
Yeah.
Really quick, I said Zadarius Smith. He was traded earlier this season. I meant Dalvin Tomlinson. They also have JOK, who blitzes
he's a
from the
fun one.
inside. So that's what I mean. They have other guys, but no one even close to Myles Garrett.
the max of Myles Garrett. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
I think again, it just changes your offense when you have to account for a pass rusher like that. Because it seems like recently we've seen them run more 5 receiver routes, and so you're getting more opportunity. It spreads the field out more. There's more for Bo to look at. But as soon as you're keeping a tight end in or running back in, it just changes the numbers a little bit, which I don't love. And
we're not throwing to the tight ends anyway. We might as well keep them in.
I also, that's fair. I wish.
He just really wishes that the Broncos still had Greg Dulcich.
This is going to be a dumb thing because everybody will agree, but this is where you wish you had like a Travis Kelce, where it's like, yeah, he'll just go stand there, get in the way for just a second, and turn around, and all of a sudden, like, you turn the chip into like an easy little catch in 5 yards. I almost think this is where you could use a good tight end more, because that's where like the art form comes in, where it's like you have to chip, you have to help for a second, and then you get open versus a quick little catch. But instead, it's just going to be, Troutman stays in, or it's Adkins, or they'll put Burton out there for a couple snaps. And you just lose a receiver in a route, which just changes the spacing a bit when it feels like that's been opening up a lot more and working better.
So you concerned?
I'm no more concerned than I would be against any other like 3-4 win team. Like they have their strengths and weaknesses. Any game is tough in the NFL, but it'd be nice if you could just run all your receivers out there and have these fun concepts and expect to have a bunch of time. That's just not the nature of the NFL. Like some weeks this is the strength and this is the Browns' strength, so you just have to deal with it.
Speaking of one more guy on their defense, how concerned are we, or the Broncos, or Cortland Sutton, about Denzel Ward? The top 5 pick at cornerback. He leads the NFL in pass deflections right now. He has 17 pass deflections, but only 1 interception. Is this a guy who will slow down Court this week? He's the hottest receiver in the NFL over the past 5 weeks. Will Denzel Ward slow him down this week?
It's going to be a good matchup. I mean, I think that's talent on talent. That's good on good. Anytime you got 2 guys that are, top 10 in their position going at it, it tends to be a good matchup. But am I nervous? No. I think they just have to find creative ways to get Cortland Sutton open. I think back to Kansas City, that touchdown to Cortland, that was a top 5, top 10 corner he was going against then. I think Cortland can hold his own against most corners. We just got to really get creative in scheming up plays to get him the ball.
Yeah. Sean brought up this week that one of their questions is, he called it, is Court drawing star coverage on 3rd down? Which in theory is like, he's their best receiver. They're going to move the corner around to match him. So it'll be interesting to see how much Ward plays against Court. You'd imagine it'll be quite a bit. But, yeah, I mean, if that matchup does wind up being a wash, I still think there's other matchups you like. Like with the other guys playing as well as they have. The secondary for the Browns, like they've got a couple pieces, but it's not great. I think Court will be just fine. I'm not sure he's going to give you 100 yards again this week, but he'll do enough.
I agree. Denzel Ward is really sticky. He's always going to be around the wide receiver. But where Court dominates is jump balls, is 50-50 balls. And Court has a massive size advantage on Denzel Ward. So I expect that to be where Court wins. There's going to be a couple 50-50 balls thrown his way, and Court's going to come down with them. And so I think Court's over-under is set at 65.5 right now. I think Court's going to get that on like 3 catches. 3 catches for 70 yards, 3 catches for 80 yards, and a touchdown. So I would expect Denzel Ward to follow Court this entire game and maybe shut him down in terms of catches, but not in terms of yards. Okay, guys, let's give our final picks for this game. And before we do, I want to give a shout out to our friends over at Bird Call, where, man, Bird Call is the place to go. You just had turkey this weekend. You're going to want some chicken, and chicken sandwiches over at Bird Call are the absolute best. They put coleslaw, they put cheese, they put pimento cheese, they have Nashville hot chicken, they have Nashville extra hot chicken over at Bird Call. And right now they've got Bird in a box, which is $9.95. It's a great deal. You get your choice of 2 crispy sliders or 1 slider and 2 tenders, plus tots or fries with pickles and one of your signature sauces, one of their signature sauces. And if you like, you can upgrade to Nashville hot tenders. I love Bird Call. It's delicious. It's fresh. It's affordable. And speaking of affordable. If you use the code DNVR, they're going to give you $10 off any orders of $20 or more at Bird Call with promo code DNVR10. So there's 8 restaurants in Denver. Make sure you check out Bird Call and get a bird in a box or get $10 off any order of $20 or more by using the code DNVR10 over at Birdcall or eatbirdcall.com. This offer is valid through the first week of December. So check them out, DNVR10 over at eatbirdcall.com.
And shout out to our friends over at Coors Light. If you guys want to embrace a chiller mindset and choose chill, you guys got to check out Coors Light. Today is the perfect day to grab yourself a Coors Light. You watch the CU game, you can watch all the football coming on today, maybe grab another Coors this afternoon, another one tomorrow. I mean, there's a lot of football. And if you want to chill and enjoy the games coming on, you got to check out Coors Light. And if you want Coors Light delivered straight to your door, you can do so with Instacart by going to CoorsLight.com/DNVR. Remember to celebrate responsibly. Coors Brewing Company in Golden, Colorado.
All right, and shout out to our presenting sponsor, Bet365. We're going to pick our games right now. If you want to join in with us and you like our picks, you can pick them over at Bet365. Use that code DNVR365 when you sign up, fellas. How do we see this game unfolding on Monday Night Football? And before we get to our picks, want to get to our standings. Wow. Henry, you gained 1 game on your lead in the standings. You have 29-9 record. I'm behind you at 26-12. Todd's behind me at 22-16. And Ryan finally has a winning record sitting at 19-18. So maybe fade Ryan and ride with Henry and me on these picks. How do you guys see this game unfolding? Broncos 5.5-point favorites here. We're not picking against the spread. Just want to throw that out there.
I'm going Broncos 20-17.
So Browns cover.
Yeah. I mean, they have a decent defense. They have a decent offense. I think the Broncos are better, but I actually don't know how exactly the Broncos are going to beat them. I'm not sure if it's passing or running or like the pass rush. But it just feels like they're going to find some advantage somewhere, and it'll be a good game, but I think the Broncos win.
Todd?
Henry?
Yeah.
I'll do Broncos 25.
Oh, weird.
Weird number, I know.
Yeah, safety.
Browns 12.
Oh, okay. That's what the Browns average in their losses under Jameis Winston.
Bet365 would give you some pretty good odds for 25-12.
Do we think that would be a scoregami?
Yeah. I doubt it.
Yeah, here, can you look that up? 25-12. Would that be a scoregami? That would be a very interesting one. The over-under set at 41.5, I believe. So, Todd, you've got the under. Henry, you've got the under. Ryan has the slight under as well. Ryan's going 27-14. Broncos get a 13-point win. And I'm going Broncos get a 10-point win, 27-17. And, guys, if we're right and the Broncos win this game, they will be 8-5 heading into their bye week with 4 games left, and they would have potentially a 2.5 to 3 game lead on the final wild card spot. With the Packers taking care of business against the Dolphins last night, the Broncos now have a 2-game lead on the final wild card spot. If they win and the Colts lose, they will have a 2.5 game lead on the Dolphins. They'll have a 3-game lead on the Colts. So, I mean, just a massive game for the Broncos to not lock in a playoff spot, but like pretty much have a firm hold on the playoff spot.
It would also not be a scoregami.
Wow.
There's been 3 games I've ended like that before.
How recent?
2015, 1986, 1930.
Okay. So be scoregami in the past almost decade, but not a true scoregami. But I like that you're picking that one, Todd. This would just be a huge win for the Broncos to go with 4 weeks left, going into your bye week with a 2.5 to 3 game lead. That would be awesome.
Yeah. No, I mean, right now the Dolphins, I guess there's 3 teams who could all get to 10-7. Any of them would have to win out, and odds of that are pretty slim. So you would think if you can get to 9 wins, you're in, and this would get you to 8.
Yeah.
So
remember how scared of the Dolphins you were? You just
How
thought they were
scared-
just going to be a great team.
No.
and
I
put
remember
their
him
gun back
trembling in his
in.
boots.
He was so
shivering my
nervous.
quivers the
All
whole
I
time.
said
my
is,
God.
like, I didn't even say they have as good of a chance as the Bengals or the other team. But now all of a sudden you look at the standings and you guys are scared of the Bengals and look who's closest.
No,
You're
no,
walking
no.
it back.
The conversation
You're
was
walking it back.
who's more likely to make who's more likely to challenge the Broncos. You said don't count out the Dolphins.
I said don't count them out.
Now win out.
And now who's chasing the Broncos? Who's the one team that's right behind them?
The Colts, yeah.
You're going with that.
No, it actually is the Colts in the standing.
They're both 5-7, right?
Yeah, exactly. They're both 5-7. Yeah, exactly. So you said
and
you said
yesterday
Dolphins.
they were 5-6.
Yeah, but now
So
they're
for,
five.
for
Now
a
they're
minute
5 and
there,
7.
they were number 8 all alone. That was the one team you had to worry about. You guys said they were dead.
It's just crazy. I don't know if it's the Dolphins as a team. I don't know if it's Mike McDaniel. I don't know if it's Tua. But when cold weather comes, that team just crumbles. I mean, three points in the first half.
There's a lot of reasons.
The game was over. They tried to make like a second half comeback, but I think they play like more cold games than not coming up. So yeah, the Dolphins are toast.
They shrivel up in
And
the
what
cold.
are the Bengals? Your scary Bengals.
The scary, but
The 4-7 Bengals.
they have an MVP on their team still. Like you
Did
don't
he win an MVP?
an MVP. Oh my gosh, we have to get in this
They have a Pro
conversation
Bowler
again.
on the team.
They have.
Pro Bowler, Heisman
Is he not an
winner.
All-Pro?
Oh, he's in pro.
All pro.
Oh, he might be.
National champion.
There you go.
Well, shout out to Tua. He's
Yeah,
also a
there's
national
Tua.
champion. Yeah, that very much counts. You hear? Don't try to discredit Bama. Don't count out Bama for the
How
college
long till
football
they're
playoff
bad?
as well. They're 13th in the country.
But
Give
I
me
know,
a break
but that's
right
a step
now.
back. 3 years from now, what's Bama?
One
back.
in the country. So I don't know. I really my answer is who am I most scared about? No one. The Broncos have wrapped up a playoff spot, not mathematically, but they are going to make the playoffs. There's no jinx here. This is something that I've been saying for months now. The Broncos are going to make the playoffs. Stop touching on wood. You hear? You're
Whoa.
going to be fine.
New rule for the studio.
The Broncos are going to be fine. I've been also saying it for months. Not only the Broncos are going to make the playoffs, but the Broncos are a team you can trust. When they play the 3-8 Browns, they will take care of business. You don't have to worry about jinxes with this team anymore. The Broncos are going to beat the Browns. The Broncos are going to make the playoffs, and they're going to do it with ease.
Yeah.
There's going to be no concern about this. Believe, or should I say,
Wow.
believe
Good thing
in
they,
this Broncos team.
Good thing they won that must-win game against the Steelers, right?
That was last year's team.
No,
As
no,
Sean
that was
says,
0-2.
that was last year's
Okay.
team. This is this year's
that
team.
must-win game against the Steelers.
They did not have Bo Nix last year. They're fine. They're fine. You can
What are you
trust
talking
them.
about last year?
You're talking about last year. You brought up that Patriots game.
0-2. No, Steelers.
Yeah, 0-2. And look how they bounced back. What are they? They're about to be 8-3 since.
That's why it wasn't a must-win.
Why are we going back
I'm just
months
bringing it up.
here,
I'm-
Henry?
He just
We're
wants to
talking about
find
things that
something
suck.
where he could be right.
Just saying. Bringing
He's
up-
been wrong a lot in this show. He's just trying to
Oh,
find
yeah.
something.
Okay. I appreciate that, Todd. So let's look around the rest of the AFC West. There's a game going on today. Black Friday. Speaking of Black Friday, check out our sale. We've got 30% off our entire store, plus up to 75% off. We got the Bo Leave shirt. We got the LFB shirt. We've got an awesome new hoodie that we just dropped. It's a Broncos hoodie. It is so cool. I didn't even realize we had that until today, but I'm going to get myself one of those because it is nice. So check out our store. Go to All City Store. You can also click the link in our description here. It's really, really great deals.
Ooh, also, if there are any Montana fans around, we're watching the playoff game here tomorrow night. I convinced Noah to let us get the game sound on after the Avs game is over, and if there aren't many Avs games or Avs fans, we get to use the den and have the game sound the entire game.
Wow. So
Yeah.
you and one other person will be here?
Well, my parents,
Oh.
my girlfriend,
Wow.
my Montana friends are maybes. So
Maybe.
yeah.
I like the honesty.
No, I mean I just came up with this plan 2 hours ago. So but
Wow.
I got all
Who do you
set
guys
up.
play?
Tennessee State. Eddie George's Tennessee State. He's the coach there.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Gonna smash him like 17-point favorites.
Wow.
Yeah.
So make sure to come by the bar for any games this weekend. And of course, we're going to be watching it. Well, Todd's going to be watching it here on Monday night if you want to come by. We'd love to see you and get some merch while it's all on sale this weekend. Okay, guys, how do we see this game today playing out? Tell me you think the Raiders are going to upset the Chiefs.
There's no way.
No way. Okay.
Well, I
you
mean,
going
the Chiefs played. I mean, the Panthers just played the Chiefs close, and
Very
it shouldn't have
true.
been close at all. And the Raiders were playing us close until that interception.
Sounds like you're ready to make the upset. pick.
Nah, let's go with the Chiefs.
Yeah. This is one where if we weren't going to practice after this, I would be sitting on the couch and I'd take it's 5-1 odds on the Raiders to win. I love that bet. Like, why not? 5-1, see what happens. But no, I mean, you can't actually pick them to upset the Chiefs at this point. So yeah, I'll go Chiefs. We don't do scores for this, right?
No.
I don't think I've been on one of these all season.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
welcome.
Maybe like week 3. Like, I haven't been on for a couple months end of the week, so no scores.
No wonder that's why you
What would
can
the
only talk
score
about
be?
week 2 right now. Is that was the last time you were on one of these
Yeah.
shows. So
I know it's season ended.
So you're going
Must
Chiefs.
win. Yeah.
Ryan's also going Chiefs. I am going Chiefs as well. Did you guys hear what Antonio Pierce, the Raiders head coach, said about this game 2 days ago? Todd, the Raiders head coach, I know Henry heard, so I'm going
Yes.
to tell you, Todd. The Raiders coach, Antonio Pierce, said, let's call a spade a spade. This is the best team in the NFL going up against the worst team in the NFL. Antonio Pierce called his own team the worst team in the NFL. That would deflate me. That would not pump me up for this
Well, and then
game.
he said, let's change the narrative, create a little chaos.
Okay, great. He
But I mean-
said,
I mean,
you're
sometimes-
awful at your job. Let's go, guys.
I mean, I think sometimes
Henry, you're
it's
so
Max
bad at
Crosby,
your
though.
job.
Like,
now
do you
go
know how
try to do a
easy
good
it is to
job.
fire Max Crosby? Like, that's what you do. You say, Max Crosby, this is the worst. You're the worst team in football. Let's go change this. And Gardner Minshew, I guess he's not
Yeah,
playing.
they're
Is
playing
it
their
Aiden
backup
O'Connell?
quarterback
Like,
now.
yeah, I think if you go into that locker room and say, hey guys, forget everything we've just done. We're a good football team and we can go take down the Kansas City Chiefs. They're gonna be like, no, you're a moron. Stop trying to say this. Like, you go in there, you say, this is where we're at. This is what we've done. Let's
No,
prove
but you
them
don't
wrong.
say you were the worst football team.
No, you would.
And you could just say, like, yeah, forget everything we've done
Yeah.
up until this point. Like, let's go out and ruin their day. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be anything more than that. But you don't call yourself trash.
It's also the Giants are kind of bad too. So are you
Yeah.
the team?
And they're like, no, coach, we're the second worst.
That's the rallying call. Let's prove him
31 out
wrong.
of 32, baby.
I just thought that was so bizarre. We do have one good game in the AFC. It's a 1.5-point spread. The Chargers going into Atlanta to play the Falcons. Who do you guys like here? And this is a big game for the Broncos as well. Because if the Falcons beat the Chargers and the Broncos win on Monday night, the Broncos will be second in the AFC West. The Broncos will be second in the wild card standings between the first 3 spots. So, I mean, the Broncos won't be the final wild card team anymore if the Falcons take care of business and the Broncos do as well. Will that happen?
So we want the Falcons to
We
win.
want the Falcons, yeah.
I don't know. I think the Chargers are a good team, man. I just don't think that the Falcons can handle their physicality. I think they're going to be too imposing for the Falcons. to
Okay,
beat.
so you're taking the Chargers, Henry?
I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I don't love it. Apparently, Younghoe Koo is questionable, so that's a bummer. But I think they'll be able to throw the ball. They're back in the dome. That's where they belong. I think if they can get off to a hot start, this game won't be the kind of game the Chargers want to play, and because of that, the Falcons might have a good shot.
Yeah, go Falcons, but that's not what's going to happen. I'm with
Okay.
Todd here. Ryan's going with you, Henry. He's going the Falcons win this game. I've got
That's
the
not
Chargers
what you
as
wanna
well.
hear.
Yeah, it's not what you want to
Ryan's
hear.
going
That,
with you,
that
yeah.
means the Chargers are definitely going to win this game if Ryan is picking the Falcons to win. So those are our picks for the weekend. And before we get out of here, I want to hit some super chats. Hit us with a thumbs up if you're tuning in. Again, a lot of you are off today. We appreciate you spending your off day rolling with us, especially with lots of football on. Thank you all so much for tuning in with us. We really appreciate you, and we really appreciate the super chats. First one coming in from CadCon, who says, lifetime fan from Kentucky, going to my first game in Denver on Monday Night Football. Thank you guys for always being my only daily listen. Got made fun of for my Todd Davis jersey in 2014. Now who's laughing?
Wow.
Gonna visit
In 2014.
DNVR.
I hope they were making fun of it because it was like a Broncos jersey, not because it was my jersey. You know what I'm saying? Because you live in Kentucky, so it's not exactly Broncos
true.
country. So
Or maybe they had
hopefully
a
that was it.
Todd
2014
Davis,
Todd Davis.
That would've
Saints
been-
practice
or
squad.
it could have been Saints.
Well,
too.
no, he said he's a Broncos fan, so
Yeah.
probably.
Well, maybe he was just a big
Wait,
Todd
wait,
fan.
I played
Was
on the
a
Saints. I was.
Yeah,
I was not nice.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, maybe his.
There's no practice squads jerseys.
Yeah.
You just have the game jersey.
that's a good point. You do have a number. Maybe it was custom made.
I was 52 on the Saints, guys.
I gotta
feel
know,
like
how did you get?
Nobody else wore that number that year. That was me.
You gotta let us know. In 2014, when Todd Davis was a rookie, just signed off the Saints practice squad, why did you go for a Todd Davis jersey? That's got to be a cool story.
I mean, some people can see talent.
Yeah.
You guys can.
No, of course. I'm saying that's a
Shout out to
cool
my guy,
story.
you know?
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
like a Sac State dude too, and he's like,
Yeah,
this dude is
exactly.
balling.
Shout out to
feel like-
CADCon, who also comes in and says, sorry, I only have 200 letters, LOL. I'm Cade. Love you all. We love you right back, Cade. Thank you so much. And
All
you
love.
love Todd, too. We
Yes.
love Todd. We love you.
I feel like being a linebacker for the Broncos is cooler than being a linebacker for the Saints.
For
I don't
sure.
know.
Because you don't
Saints
think like
had-
Saints linebacker,
You
you know?
should. They had
I mean,
the
they have Demario
linebacking
Davis
core.
and,
No.
like-
What was the linebacking core back in the day? Vic Fangio, your guy, coached them. No. Way back in the day, like in the 80s. They had a nickname.
They didn't
were
even go
called
to the playoffs back then.
Yeah, but they were called something, and like 3 of them are in the Hall of Fame right now.
Yeah.
What were they called?
don't know.
Here, look this up in the
Was it-
final
are you
20
thinking
seconds
of
the
Randy
show.
Gradishar or
No,
Carl Mecklenburg?
on the Saints. Come
Back
on,
in the
somebody
80s,
help
they
me
had
out.
good
Oh my
linebackers.
gosh. Logan Bomo says
You can't remember their names.
Broncos win by 7. I wasn't alive then. Broncos win by 17 on Monday.
That'd be fun.
Love that. And Michaela says, is Bo a top 10 quarterback right now? Absolutely. Yes.
Thinking of the Dome Patrol.
The Dome Patrol. There we go. They had their own nickname. Can you read me who was on the Dome Patrol? You hear? You can't.
Yeah, we
It was a
don't
guy
even
that. These are Vic
Vaughn
Fangio's
Johnson,
guys.
Sam Mills,
Yeah, Sam
Ricky
Mills.
Jackson, Pat Swilling. What are the 4 linebackers on that?
But Sam Mills is more of a Panther, right?
No, Sam Mills was the Mike, and so was Vaughn Johnson. Ricky Johnson was an outside linebacker, and Pat Swilling was an
So
outside.
wait, what year was this?
Just let that slide.
1986 through
1986.
1980.
See, I knew my stuff. Saints linebacking core
Yep.
in the 1980s.
So let's just see who the Broncos linebackers were in 1986.
Well, that's going to do it for us today.
yeah,
so,
yeah, 'cause they had a
thank you all
squad.
so much for tuning in. Tune in Monday night before
Carl
the game
Mecklenburg.
for our tailgate.
Tom
We
Jackson.
appreciate every one of you.
Never
Have
heard of
a
him.
terrific weekend. We'll see you for a Broncos victory on
Jim
Monday.
Ryan.
We all silly like the mayor.